have you have the potential for skills and to learn and to be educated. Education was in some families. That didn't happen in all families, thank goodness. It only happened in some where education was not a thing. But when we had somebody going to college, boy, that was really something.
Do you know how far the sisters went, like your mother and Josephine and Gertrude? Do you know how far they went?
I have no knowledge of that because our grandparents, of course, died as young women.
Yeah.
The grandparents died as young women. There is one lady, Cindy knows, Aunt Moselle. Aunt Moselle? You ever heard Aunt Moselle?
We might have seen her when we went back.
Aunt Moselle lived in Pueblo. She, the Jones Mortuary. You've heard of the Jones Mortuary? Is this before your time?
Take it around all over. My mother took us to see her mother's friends and stuff like that.
Aunt Moselle was a friend, a personal friend of the three sisters. She was our closest connection to anything about the Lewis sisters. And Aunt Moselle was a Tannehill.
Tannehill?
Her last name was Tannehill.
Oh.
She married one of these Jones elite black morticians. In those days, a mortician was top of the line. A mortician was like a company of a CEO of a company. She married one of the Jones brothers. His brother was a mortician, and they were very well known. And she knew the three sisters, was a very personal friend of theirs. But she never shared. I think she thought we were all too young to understand or want to know. And she never shared too much about the little sister, other than she was like a sister. Now, I would consider her more of like a sister than Easter, the cousin that's in the picture. Is there just one of those pictures?
Of what?
Of the three sisters and their cousin, Easter.
I think so. Ask Bina.
Bina has the picture.
I'm pretty sure. I've seen it on Ella's dresser.
I have too, but I never had it.
I haven't seen it since.
Well, that's a shame too, because some of this kind of thing is what you'd like to be involved in.
So you were telling me about Josephine and what she was like, and Mayfer and what Mayfer was like, and you said that Josephine was she was one of the first people to wear pants, and maybe you can tell me a little bit more about Josephine and Mayfer and Gertrude, what you remember.
Okay. It's remarkable some of the things you remember as children, very young children. They stay with you for all of your life. And some of them you see in the offspring of those people, But we always knew Aunt Jo was the spunky, go-getter, do it, come on, let's go type of person. And the other sisters were of different personality. And Gert was a follower, a pleaser, a person pleaser. And I can see the characters of these women now as an adult from what I knew, little that I knew about them, passed over from generation to generation. And I believe strongly in genes. But Aunt Jo was well known in her community as the kind of woman all women wanted to be like, but didn't dare. Women didn't dare wear pants. Women didn't dare climb trees. Women didn't dare stand up to men. And if they gave you a blow, give them one or two back. That was the kind of person she was. And admired by all women, because as quiet as it's kept, there were characters in other women that we admire, we like. We would like to be like, but not dare. Not dare. The times and different things prevented you from being But the family always admired her because she would have been a leader in the times we live in now. She would have been a Fannie Lou Hamer. She would have been a leader of women, black women especially.
Like Oprah?
Yes. Well, not in that genre, but in teaching black women how to, well, yes, that's what Oprah does in her way with her money. She does it. But Aunt Jo would have been on the ground floor. She would have been the kind to go and show a woman how to keep house or how to do things, you know. She was very, very bright, Aunt Jo was. Very bright. And she was a person that everybody liked and admired for one reason or another, you know. And I didn't get to know my mother, but it seems as though I admired the skills of Aunt Jo and the kinds of things that I think that she could have done had she lived longer, you know, and been involved in, because she was very, very set in what she believed. And even in those days, they stole that from us. We weren't even allowed to be ourselves as women because we're so involved in people pleasing and that kind of thing. But Aunt Gerd, she was a people pleaser, you know. Mm-hmm. And my mother, she was a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. But Aunt Jo was the outstanding one. And Aunt Lizelle, the few little things that I had heard her speak of, the sisters, she had that same feeling about Aunt Jo. Mm-hmm. I can just hear her saying, "Oh, that Josephine, she was something else."
What are some examples of some things that Josephine would do that were sort of, that went against the grain of the community at that time?
She had her own ways of doing things. She was very strong. I think that would be the word I would use. Strong in the time when women weren't allowed to be strong. Very set in what she felt was right, and not at all concerned about whether you liked her pants at all or not. Mm-hmm. And those kind of things carry on and make a person stronger, mm-hmm. because it was unheard of to wear pants. Mm-hmm. Women always wore a dress. I don't care. Never climbed a tree. And I had seen Aunt Jo climb a tree.
As an adult, when she was an adult?
Yes, ma'am. And thought nothing of it, or felt very strongly about how she felt about her kids, you know, mm-hmm. that kind of thing. And she was very an unusual woman in her time, mm-hmm. indeed, and the kind of person, even if you touched her a little bit, like I did in my very infant childhood, it was strong and carried over. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people were just shocked that she would wear pants and climb trees, or?
Of course.
What other sorts of things did she do that shocked people?
She had her own way of thinking, and women didn't do that, mm-hmm. especially black women. Mm-hmm. You thought like your husband thought, you thought like the neighbors thought, you thought like the people in the church felt. Mm-hmm. But she was not, she didn't go that